Good day, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Karen Smith Frazier podcast. Um, I am Karen Smith Frazier, as you may have guessed. And, after spending 30 years as a registered nurse, I began to feel a bit restless and frustrated. It's not that I hated the work, it actually was very fulfilling. But preventive health and wellness had been a deep interest throughout my career. And after decades of treating illness and having less time to give attention to wellness, I felt a pull to figure out how I could do that. But I was dragging my feet big time, like years of dragging. I mean, I had a pretty good gig, seniority, leadership teams, good benefits. So as you may have guessed, the pull to stay put was strong. When I mentioned my thoughts to family or friends, most would just say, "But Karen, you're so good at this. The kids need you." And at that time, I was working as a school nurse. I must say that there are times when you might not want to share your thoughts about change with other people who don't get you, or who simply don't understand your calling to serve in a different way. And that service can include serving yourself to new adventures or personal development and growth in a direction that no one expected. In those moments, it is really hard to keep it real and show up as your authentic self. Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines authenticity as the quality of being genuine, real, and true to oneself. And this quote from Debbie Ford, internationally recognized expert in personal transformation, said it in another way. She said, "The greatest act of courage is to be and to own all of who you are, without apology, without excuses, without masks to cover the truth of who you are." Now, after dragging my feet to make a decision, one was handed to me after a car accident. A bag in the face, a conversation with God, and yet another reminder that I'm not going to live forever. I don't have unlimited time to pursue this thing that brings me energy, joy, and satisfaction in seeing and helping others see the positive and life-giving potential in their lives. As a personal development life coach, podcaster, entrepreneur, lifelong learner, and community advocate, I am getting on with my post-nursing vocation. But I had to work really hard, wrapping my brain around whether I did the right thing. I think I'm doing all right, more than all right. Now I get to help people, especially women of a certain age like me, navigate transition and move beyond fear to step into and create a chapter of life they'd love. What I realize is that when we follow that gut feeling, whether you want to call it a calling or intuition, the universe meets you halfway. People and other things keep reminding you to follow up on that restless feeling without seeming to know that your gut was calling you to something. This support from the universe may look like a social media post, a song on the radio, a comment on a podcast, or it could be an old friend you haven't spoken to in months or years asking a question that fits right into what you've been thinking about. It's wild when it starts happening. When you keep it real and match what we say we believe or deem important with our actions, the way we are living our lives, communicating with others, showing up in relationships, positive things beyond your imagination can happen. And even more when we use our imagination and desire to envision a life in the future that we would love. As I mentioned before, I like nursing, but never loved nursing. And I realize as I say that, I think that's the first time I said that out loud. Just trying to keep it real. Have any of you ever been in that situation where things are going all right, but you still are searching for more? We are creative people, and those ideas and that unsettled feel is giving us clues that we are being called to growth in some way. It could be relationships, something related to finances, health, maybe even free time. I just encourage you to first be open to not ignoring the inconsistencies in life that may be clues that you're not correctly positioned to do your best work and to step into your courageous self. That person who is growing and becoming more than you were yesterday, last week, or last year. Now, I am not so naive as to believe that the process is easy, but when you want something of value in your life, it's worth the effort. Whether it's an investment in time, money, or effort, the results you reap can be so satisfying. You look back and can say, I did that, or I'm doing that. And it's often that thing that others said you were not equipped to do. Busted. I can do it. I haven't said it in a while, but let this month be the one that you inventory your friends. Not everyone who goes by that label has your back. Support is necessary when we take new steps in a new direction. And I hope that those around you respect you enough to give support and hold back on the people like us don't do that kind of vibe. That's not the thinking of or mindset of someone who has an attitude of expectation and abundance in their future and in the present moment. No matter what's going on with your circumstances, I see you and I see the struggles. The other day, as I listened to someone's challenging story, they realized that one part of the chaos took a break. Something seemingly random happened that reminded them that the universe, or what they called God, saved them from the worst case scenario and set them up for something better. The label of who or what intervened is not the point, but awareness that once we set in motion any thought or action, when it is aligned with your core beliefs, a matching energy will find you. Sounds a little woo-woo, but just take note. Take a moment to notice what you are noticing in your thoughts and even how your body feels when you decide to try something different that brings you joy and satisfaction in some way. Being your authentic self in some spaces will be hard and sometimes unsafe due to the ignorance and downright hate of those who have decided to not only judge what you do, but who you are. My friends who have the most challenges like this, I find to be the most genuine and giving, even though they'd have every legitimate excuse to be hard and mean. I'm not saying they don't get angry, but the way they hold on to core beliefs and their desire to live them out allow them to show up as their authentic selves, even in these difficult times. And as for me, I get to be the beneficiary of these folks who are keeping it real and reminding me to do the same. The greatest act of courage is to be and to own all of who you are, without apology, without excuses, without masks to cover the truth of who you are. That's Debbie Ford's quote again. I couldn't resist. Now, I set a goal for myself to offer at least 2 workshops or classes in a month. And the first is a free virtual masterclass on May 20th from 11 a.m. to noon Pacific time. That's 2 p.m. Eastern time. Why in the morning or early afternoon? Well, a couple reasons. One, I want to reach you during the day before you are overly tired and have the energy and still have the energy to give yourself an hour to step away from what might be chaos. Treat it like a doctor's appointment. Somehow you can make time for an appointment, right? Wouldn't that be a nice change? And second, my social media pages have viewers in India, South Africa, the UK in any given week. And I'd love for those folks to have access to a live teaching. So mark your calendars, March 20th, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, if you are interested. And put "that's me" in the chat or direct message me at Karen Smith Frazier. I'll send the registration link when it's available. All right. That's it for today. Please excuse the noise in the background. We have some workers in the house, but I did not want to leave you hanging. And, if you got value or if something resonated with you today, please let me know. I haven't even had a chance to check the chat. So let's see here. Thank you, Tony, for tuning in. Appreciate you. All right. Well, if you found value, something resonated, please put it in the chat. I love hearing from you, and it just helps me to continue this service. Unleash your brilliance, uncover your light. The world is waiting for you and me too. So I'm asking you to send me a DM, follow, subscribe on YouTube, join my masterclass, please. One thing I've learned is that the answer is always no if I don't ask. So that was the ask. Take care and have a good week, everybody.